Hello everyone, it's Future Shark. I wanted to preempt this video with a little bit extra context just to make sure we don't get off on the wrong foot here, okay? Had some internet issues as well as some personal issues that made uploading in the last couple of days a little difficult. If you typically watch the content, you would have seen that. Moving into the future, that should be a little bit better, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess we're gonna call it drama. It's only gotten basically worse as the days go on, and because of that, the context of my comments and the context of what's been going on has changed a bit. So I just wanted to keep that in mind, that this was recorded a couple of days ago before the issues with Contra and Cat and before the issues with everybody else and the Vaush versus women entire saga. And if you're wondering if I'm going to be making comments on that, I made a couple on Twitter, and we should be doing a stream sometime soon where I make just a couple more, but we're not going to be spending much time on it. I plan that this is going to be the first and last video on that. If anything else changes, I guess we're going to work with it in time, but there are more things that I want to talk about, and I feel like diving more into this is going to only create more problems. And one last thing, I also want to make sure that this is clear. I don't hate Vaush. He's all right. He is my moot on Twitter, at least for the time being. We'll see what happens after this video drops. It's important to understand that no matter what Vaush did, I don't like his comments, but his comments in comparison to JK's comments, and we'll get into it, are near negligible. What he said is bad. What JK said is far, far worse, and basically speaks to the erasure of these groups of people that we're going to be talking about now and into the future, which is wholly unacceptable. And so I don't want that to get lost in all of these discussions, is that we need to understand two things can be true. Two people can say two bad things. One can be far worse. But I think it's something that's interesting to talk about. So let's talk about it. Thanks for watching again. And I hope to see you in another video. Vaush did nothing wrong. Vaush did do something wrong. Wait, where's his original tweet? He's trending again. Let's see, because I didn't even see the tweet that he made. All JK Rowling had to do was shut up and uncritically beloved for a century. This is also the problem. Look at the Newsweek article. We can, but I don't really care. Women be quiet and start apologizing challenge. Listen, all right? This would have been cute if it was like said in like Discord chat or something, or like to a friend. In public, no. It's not. Like, once you get like a bigger platform and everything, you got to be more careful with your language. And so here's the thing. I heard his I don't think the ironic misogyny was the own that he thinks it is. Here's the thing, okay? When you get bigger, you do have to take care of like how you deal with these sorts of things. I can understand his, because I was like watching his stream when he was talking about it. Well, he spent like 57 hours trying to take down Crucible Knight during the charity stream. If he said white woman, it would be better. People are okay with misogyny as long as you do it to white people. That's true. See, that's why when I made my tweet, I said British specifically, and that's why it was okay, and that's why it was funny. I'm joking. We're memeing, all right? Crucible Knight's a monster. Yeah, I fought him last night. He's no slouch. Listen, okay? I understand this. I understand the point that he was trying to make, and I understand the joke that he was going for, right? I understand. In this sort of topic, I don't think this does any good. It just doesn't do anything any good. And honestly, I think he accepted that. I think he knew that he was doing no good. I think he said even specifically, I got to be misogynist to JK Rowling. That was fun. And he can think that if he wants. All right. I just don't think this does any good. It just helps feed into like this bad narrative that they have, that everybody who goes against who doesn't like JK or something is like some like stinky misogynist, right? So I think the first thing that we need to do is accept that this didn't do anything good. Because I don't think anybody is going to say that this did anything good. Does anybody unironically think that this like second tweet here is like good, that this is positive? I think the best thing that you can say is that it's neutral, but it's not positive. No, it's fine if you don't feel sorry for her. I get the joke. I don't feel sorry for anybody. That was a joke. Yes. So it was like Women's Day when he made this, right? And so basically the joke was supposed to be, you know how like people say like women be louder and never apologize. That's like the typical saying, right? Like, don't be sorry for like who you are. Don't be sorry for being women. Don't be sorry for speaking out, and make sure that you do speak out. And so he was doing the joke, like reversing it. Whoa, hey, look, whoa, like, shut the fuck up. JK Rowling, which is true. She should shut the fuck up. Not because she's a woman, honestly, in spite of her being a woman, which is very sad. But listen, all right, being misogynistic is an obvious mandatory turf. It just gives them more ammunition. Yeah, I think so. I think it just gives them more ammunition. And I think he even accepted, like, it was misogynist, and he was and he's just okay with it. And the thing is, if this is the case, then I don't know, then I do think that he gets a lot of like bad press, and I do think that he gets a lot of bad what is it unfair treatment on this. I think a lot of what he'll be getting from this is just warranted. Besides them calling him like a pedo or something. Besides that, like everything that they say is mostly warranted. You're being misogynistic. Yeah, then he should just accept that, and other people should just accept it. That yeah, you were being misogynistic. You could be criticized for being misogynistic, obviously. And then when people call you out, that's just like how it is, and he needs to just be okay with it. He deserves like what he gets here. He makes his bed, he lies in it, and he enjoys the fleas. That's just like how it is. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he did anything good. I don't think he should have done it. In other news, he raised 300,000 for Ukraine. That's good. I'm happy. I donated. Didn't he literally say he was being misogynistic? Yes. He said specifically he enjoyed being misogynistic to J.K. Rowling. Yes. Like in the follow-up video, he did it while he was streaming. It would have been better if he not included the bottom tweet. Yeah, there are better ways to like shit on J.K. Rowling than this. So yeah, I do think he did something wrong. He shouldn't have made this bottom tweet. And a lot of people will be like, and a lot of people will be turned off. The thing is, like, if that's just like his prerogative, if he's just okay, not being productive, not being helpful, and with his bottom tweet, and actively making the situation, I would say, like a little bit worse, then that's just like him. But then we can't, I don't know. As long as he's not just like, I can't believe they've done this, then I don't really know what more to say. I mean, he knows what he did, and he knows it's misogynist, and he knows about that. He's just okay with it, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and say that what he did was right. It's not, but he knows what he said. The reply is great though. The reply was good. She's gonna debate Vaush. I don't think she's going to be debating Vaush. Her initial tweet was misogynistic as well though. Yeah, she's British, and J.K. Rowling, and transphobic. She's stupid. Like, of course, like this isn't like this just in. British person says something stupid. Wow, who could have seen this coming? Where's that headline? British public wrong about nearly everything survey shows. Like this isn't surprising to me. Of course, I don't see why there's a double standard. What do you mean double standard? What are you talking about? What double standard are you talking about? She was being okay, and you're okay, and she was being misogynistic first. I don't see why Vaush was dragged for what? If someone does a bad thing first, does that mean that you can be bad too? What? If Vaush was watching a Ben Shapiro video and then Vaush said the N-word to like a conservative person that was brought onto a Ben Shapiro video, do you think that would be sick? Do you think that would be like super sick? Oh, but like Ben was racist first. Okay, and yeah, I can be more racist than you, Angloid. Okay, like I mean, they both said bad things. All right, two things can be right at once. Fuck J.K. Rowling, and what Vaush said was cringe and shouldn't have been said. Good people can do bad things. He did say the N-word. He said the N-word on stream more times than I have. That's a fact. Dude, I still think there are some people who walk around and think that like the tactical N-word thing was actually was a good thing. Don't see why it's not only about Vaush. What are you talking about? Everybody was literally shitting on J.K. Rowling until he decided to make that tweet, and now it shifted to him. And that was like I feel like all of this is like this is like lost the plot. You know what it's like? And I don't know. You know what it's like? It's like the reason for why when I like give advice for people debating, especially when you're debating conservatives, like don't call them racist or like misogynist. Just don't say those words, because then instead of us talking about the actual issue, what we start talking about and like quibbling over, what they'll like pivot to get out of actually talking about the situation at hand, what they'll start pivoting to is like what the definition of those words are and why they don't fit them, and then we'll start arguing over definitions than the actual things that they're doing, right? You can sit here and call them those types of things without you using those words exactly, and then they won't have that to like hang on to, because obviously what J.K. Rowling was going to do is take the second you start doing that, she'll take that and then she'll pivot it into my ex-husband was mean. Look, men mean. Right? And now we're talking about this instead of like the actual issue, because this is where because she has like control, because since she's so much bigger, since she has so much more clout, all right, now she gets to control the narrative way easier than Vaush can. And so it's just bad. It's just a bad move. I don't know why he was like cared so much more about like optics and everything when it comes to talking about talking like Tim Pool and like Charlie Kirk, but now it just kind of gets dipped off here. And honestly, I think this one was more important than like talking with debating Tim Pool and Charlie Kirk. I think this one was more important simply because J.K. Rowling is bigger than both of them, maybe even combined. Why did the focus shift to Vaush? Because she controls the narrative. She's bigger. She's more powerful. She controls the narrative, as you can see, obviously. That's why his name is trending and not hers. That's exactly what happened when I called out a family member for sharing an inflammatory racist post. She said what she said, my bad, said what she shared was racist, but then she flipped it to say, I called them racist and should apologize. Yes, that's exactly what they'll do. They'll pivot from what you did to talk about like what you called them. Don't say those words. It's very easy. And then they don't have anything to latch onto because then they'll say, because then you can easily say, well, you called me racist. Then you say, I never used the word racist. Here, wait, guys, can I get an answer to this question really quick? Is J.K. Rowling the only woman on Earth? Is J.K. Rowling the only woman? I need this. I'm not sure. Is this true? Yes, she's the only woman. Cool. I do think that there are more women on Earth than J.K. Rowling, personally. I do think that there are more women. So when you do a misogyny, it's not just one person. It's not a targeted attack. It's not just one person when you do a misogyny who's on the receiving end of that. There's actually more women than just one. So there are more people on the receiving end of that than just one. Trans women are included in that statement. So true. Oh no. What's this? The moral necessity of being sexist to J.K. Rowling and this why I do it real. Again. This guy. What's this? Here. I do want to get on with our other segments, but you know what? Here, give me a second. I'll be listening to this. I'm going to go pee.
My goodness. My goodness. Here's the dealio, folks. First of all, we raised over $300,000 for Ukrainian refugees. It's a shame that fact getting lost a little bit in the, media buzz about my excellent opinions and high-profile disputes, but it's a real thing, and I'm very proud of everyone in my community. Thank you. Taking the day off. I want to present an argument, if that's okay with you guys. See, I languish, my life. It's a tragedy because I care a lot about optics as a concept, but people in my community have, I think, sometimes latched onto that concept in a way that I think is counterproductive. I really worry that sometimes you guys would have been, like, for instance, there are some positions that I and my community,
okay, we're skipping
whatever kind of advocacy you're engaging in. Am I comparing my misogynistic tweets to the BLM movement? No, of course not. The BLM movement was never as influential and effective as my misogyny. Listen, the BLM movement and my misogynistic tweets led to about the same amount of police defunding, okay? In that respect, at least there's a comparison. I can't swear at YouTube. Okay, let's be serious for a second, okay? So the issue I have is that there are a ton of people on the left in my community and elsewise that are hand-wringing over this. There are people who are saying stuff like, my misogyny is some kind of setup to throw trans people under the bus by making the movement look bad. That's psychotic, of course. There are people in my community and in the left broadly who are saying, wow, Vaush really messed up here, really messed the optics up on this one, which is a little weird to me because people seem to be acting as though I was being misogynistic directly to J.K. Rowling as opposed to tweeting about the billionaire author just indirectly, right? Like, just to be clear on what we're talking about here, we are just talking about tweets thrown into the ether, which she screenshotted. So not to say that doesn't mean it's not misogynistic or whatever, but there are people in my subreddit who are like, where was that thread? Because I scroll through it, right? Where it was like, Vaush really messed up the optics on this one. He really couldn't have handled this one worse. Oh yeah, Vaush handled the J.K. Rowling drama poorly. I don't know how I could handle it poorly because there wasn't really drama. I just tweeted something and then she screenshotted it, Like, they're presupposing her screenshotting it as though that was something I anticipated. Like, can you imagine if everything we all said or did was subjected to the optical scrutiny of being screenshotted by somebody with 14 million Twitter followers? Like imagine anytime anyone on the left posts anything like, oh, well, you better watch out. You might get screenshotted by J.K. Rowling. That'd be a little silly. I'll just lay out my points right here, okay? I think that'll...
Well, maybe not like anybody, but I mean, he's a big, 400,000 subscribers and how many Twitter followers does he have? 200,000? Yeah, 200,000. I mean, maybe not like some average person, but when you're like a much bigger person, I would imagine that, I mean, this has happened before. Yeah, nowhere near 14 million, but he's still pretty big figure, right? Like a couple thousand likes on I would imagine that that the likelihood of her seeing it like goes up, especially since she doesn't do anything I mean, she never did anything of importance or that was good before, but now that she just spends her time being a mad white woman on Twitter, I would imagine that the likelihood of her seeing it goes up. I mean, I would imagine she saw my tweet, but my tweet has like 100,000 likes.
The people who are hand-wringing over this are borderline defending J.K. Rowling by implication. So the people who are fretting over this are essentially siding with the transphobe, either because their optics or civility politics brained in a very liberal fashion, or because they hate me so much that they have to adopt any position which allows them to condemn me. And it may seem self-centered to say that, but like there's a lot of that on the left. God. Anyway, I'll lay the arguments out here, okay? There are
I feel like this reminds me of when he was talking about like the paranoia that he has, especially after he talked to Noah. I feel like it's a little bit more of that paranoia. It's coming out. I don't want to like armchair psychology the boy, but I feel like it's a little bit more of that paranoia coming out still. That is like, oh my, they're defending her, or they just hate me. It's a little bit more of that paranoia. Very strange. We all need to see, like, we're content creators. We all need a little bit of therapy. Both can be true. What he said was terrible. And there's like both things can be true. People hate you and they'll take anything that they can to shit on you. And you said something cringe, right? I don't even think it's like that bad. I really don't. I do think it's more of J.K. Rowling's fault here for being just like a mad white woman on Twitter than his joke specifically. But like, here, I think to say that there's no reason whatsoever why he should have handled this better. And like when we say handle like this, I mean like the when you add to the conversation around J.K. Rowling, like to say that there's no reason why you should have done anything better in the first place at your size. I don't understand why we can't just say that you should have just done better.
Ton of edgy shit posters on the left, like a lot of them. Oftentimes they say stuff which, optically speaking, is as bad or worse than some innocuous misogynistic shitpost. And I feel like if they got targeted by Rowling, we wouldn't be hand-wringing like this. Like in ContraPoints' video on J.K. Rowling, she went over tweets of people being like really aggressive towards J.K. Rowling, like death threats and stuff, you know. And while Contra acknowledged that these were like harmful and bad, you know, she didn't really seem to want to focus the video on a condemnation of that behavior because, as she stressed, right, J.K. Rowling is a billionaire with incredible social power. In a way, you're really doing her a favor by pretending that tweeting something problematic with her name involved in it is somehow a concession given to her point. Like, let me give you guys a hint, all right? J.K. Rowling doesn't care about misogyny. You can read her books. They're not exactly like super progressive. She doesn't care. She cares about trans people and oppressing them. That's the thing she cares about. And this whole TERF movement is really just a conservative psyop with a very small minority of second wave feminists being signal boosted by conservative media. Are there like mainstream feminist, like, you know, groups that are advocating for TERF stuff? Some, yeah, but overwhelmingly, when J.K. Rowling says something transphobic and gets retweeted, signal boosted, has videos made about them, it's from conservatives.
That is true. Like a death threat is directed towards one person. Like a single misogyny affects a single misogyny is directed towards all women peoples. So I do think that is different. And we can focus on here. Listen, I'm not sure. Like my question is, what would he have to see when it comes to what would he have to see to not like have this point, right? That's my question. So what if I go J.K. Rowling is terrible, awful. What she doesn't care about women, she doesn't care about trans people, she doesn't care about feminism, she doesn't care about any of this type of stuff. She wants to make the world a worse place. And we talk about this all like over and over and over again. Like, is spending any amount of time saying that what he did, if I think that what he did is bad, would that like fall under we're focusing on this and we're like letting the billionaire get away, right? Like what would I have to say? What would that have to look like to be more like what ContraPoint said versus what someone who only focuses on what he said, right? Like, what would that have to look like? Can I not spend any time just singularly talking about this issue, or every time I talk about it, I have to include anyways, J.K. Rowling is worse though. Is that what I have to do? That's just my question. I don't know. Can't remember what Contra said. I mean, she basically talked about how death threats are bad. Anyways, J.K. Rowling worse.
Or often fascists. I mean, a lot of these people think women should be barefoot and pregnant. J.K. Rowling doesn't denounce the support because J.K. Rowling doesn't care that it's coming.
I think women should be barefoot and pregnant if they want to. Only if they want to. I know here's my thing, all right? Here's the wild thing about a lot of white people is that they just like walk around their house with their shoes on. I think that shit is psychotic to me. That shit is insane. I just like go to like white people houses and they're just like all walking around with their shoes on. I'm like, why do you have your shoes on? Are you about to like run? So it's like they're all like cartoon characters. Like they're about to go somewhere. At all, they wear the same like outfit at all points in time. Like they'll always have their shoes on. It's wild to me. I don't get it. Like they'll just be sitting on their couch with their like shoes and socks on. They'll be like in the kitchen, like cooking some shit with their shoes and socks on. What the? Do you guys feel this? Have you guys seen this as well? Have you guys noticed this as well? Like you'll just go to like a white people house and then they just have like shoes and socks on.
This meme is very real.
I'm like, what's happening? This is very strange. I don't get it. RGR moment. Yeah, they gotta keep their shoes on, unless it's a filthy, dirty sex act. You're right. My bad. That may just be me, but I'm still a little shocked over the fact that like people unironically just walk around their house with their
shoes very on. Real.
It's wild. I don't get it. I'm white people, and I just forget sometimes. I mean, okay, I guess I still think it's weird. Like I get home and I just like. I can understand walking around with your like, you don't have to, I'm not saying that you have to be barefoot. And if you have like some house shoes on, like slippers or something, or like you're wearing some Crocs, whatever, okay? But like straight up laced up sneakers, what the hell are you doing? Are you okay? Do you need like some help? I live in a black house and I wear shoes. Like it, I mean, there's something wrong with you, but that's okay. Do your don't let me stop you.
From them. She cares about support for her transphobia. So a couple of points to that effect. First of all, conservatives don't care about misogyny. The only reason they prop up TERFs is because, well, it's the same reason they prop up Candace Owens, right? And Candace Owens accuses the Democrats of being racist while herself never criticizing or condemning the much more overt racism from the Republicans. It's a shield. It's a way of using woke language.
Okay, like, I understand all this point, but I don't care. Do you guys feel me? Like, I understand, but I also, like, don't care. It's not about, like, I don't care what J.K. Rowling thinks. I really don't. It doesn't really matter, right? I don't care what like Candace Owens thinks. I don't care what like J.K. Rowling thinks. I don't care what like the right thinks. Like we all know that they're just going to lie and use anything that they can to just like boost up their narrative, right? And that's why I think that we shouldn't do this. Also, I just don't think that we should be doing a misogyny like this in this context. I think the context like makes it pretty bad too. Makes it worse. I think we should just be doing better. You know what I mean? It's like cool. Like I understand this. I just don't care. I don't care what she thinks. I think all of us understand that she doesn't care about the real misogyny.
To form a wedge against
right here.
And then had screenshotted it and then followed that up with the Avi, the profile picture of that Twitter user. And it was like a trans person with 18 septum piercings, pink hair, or like, you know, whatever else. That optically would have been as bad or worse from her side of the aisle than me being misogynistic. You know, Doe, trans deer. Recently, Doe had that exact treatment delivered to it by a conservative radio host. I wonder if I could find that on Twitter, where Doe was saying essentially, not that I endorse this perspective, of course, Doe was essentially saying that conservative politicians should fear for their life. What a horrible thing to say about people trying to take away others' fundamental human rights. I know.
Doe Pepe posting a little bit. Doe does a little bit of Pepe posting. So if it's okay to be misogynist to women we don't like, then what's stopping him from being transphobic and misgendering like Blair White? I think he tackled this, right? I think he tackled this already when he was what I heard from him streaming, which was that what's stopping him from being racist and transphobic is that the optics are just too bad, right? The optics for doing the misogyny, it's not like, sure, I mean, it's a little spicy, but those are waters he's like comfortable in. Being like racist and transphobic, it starts to get a little bit much. That's like, it's a little too, the heat's too much to handle. So he's not doing it specifically because he's like against it. He's not doing it because it's just too much to handle. The blowback is too much for him that he wants to handle. Is what I remember. Now I may be let me know if I if I'm misremembering it, but that's just what I remember him saying. And he may have been joking there, I'm not sure. So let me put all those caveats, but that's what I remember from watching him stream. Once again, remember, I could be wrong here. I haven't heard him explain it like after that stream, and also I don't think the stream is available on his account anymore because I would have been able to like look it up. Uploads, past live streams. Yeah, it got deleted or renode. Wait, what the hell? 1 year ago. What the fuck? Past? Oh yeah, wait. Oh yeah, he keeps all of them in like an unlisted playlist, right? Stream VODs. This live stream recording is not available. Yeah, see?
Oh, it's awful. If you could ever believe such a horrible thing being said or believed. But here. There, I found it. Look at that. See? Right here. See, Doe's making just a terrible, terrible point. So bad, so mean. And then there's a picture of Doe, who, you know, from the conservative dynamic, certainly does look like a degenerate. Love it, not a criticism. To conservatives, that is as, if not far more, of an optics failing than me being me just posting something misogynistic. A person making a solid criticism of conservatives while being fat, that's an optics failure. While being like ugly, that's an optics failure. Guys, if you defend the rights of trans children, there are conservatives right now saying you should be thrown in jail for providing medical aid to them or assisting in the providing of medical aid to them.
That's true. It's like, okay, but like you're not a conservative and I'm not a conservative, and it's like, sure, okay, but we still like shouldn't say it though, right? Like that's okay. If someone was like, I'm gonna go tell all conservative politicians to just kill themselves on Twitter, yeehaw, I would tell them probably don't. We don't need to do that. Like there's no need to do it. We probably shouldn't do it. It's going to cause more problems. Here's the thing. The question honestly is just like, are you okay with causing more problems and making things worse? Are we just okay with that? Just causing more problems and just like making things worse, right? Because that's like unnecessary. I think this goes to like an unnecessary. Is it just like tweeting while fat or tweeting while ugly or something? Sure to them, sure, right? But what happened to like our values? What about like what we believe, right? It causes more problems, and like I just think that we probably just shouldn't do it, right? Dragging Doe in with him. We're all going down.
It's prescribed by real doctors. They want to pass laws against this. Do conservatives want to pass laws against being misogynistic on Twitter? No. So if you're seriously out here wringing your hands over how, well, Vaush is giving them...
Also, Ultra Peaks, thank you so much for the Prime, for the Bezos bucks and joining the frenzy. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
...ammunition for their arguments by being... No, you're falling for it. You're falling for the framework they're constructing. The framework they're constructing is one in which they attempt to convince people that misogyny is the thing they actually care about. It's not, and they don't. So don't fall for the bait by playing into that with this, oh, well, you know, it was really irresponsible for Vaush to say something problematic about an incredibly large and influential celebrity. Do you know the shit I've said about Donald Trump? Do you know the shit? Like, would you do this to me if it was Donald Trump screenshotting? He's not on Twitter anymore. God rest his soul. You know, all the stuff I've said about him. Oh, bad optics. You know, I see so many people on Twitter.
I mean, it depends on like what he said. Also, Boogie, I'm not sure if I shouted you out, but thank you so much for the $5 contributing to your OnlyFans. Thank you. The OnlyFans is going to be great. It's going to be amazing. So hot. The hottest OnlyFans that I've ever been. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you. Was Vaush talking about the fallacy of tolerance? It's just like, what happened to our views? what about what I believe? Like J.K. Rowling's like opinions does. J.K. Rowling could like agree with it. But even if J.K. Rowling was like, haha, so funny, I still would have been like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that.
Who will jump into the fire to defend the most optically indefensible, marginalized people. I see trans people on Twitter tweet the craziest shit, and you guys will dive into acid to defend them. And I support that because you should never, ever, ever, ever allow optical concerns about people on your side of the aisle to prevent you from standing with them when they have a good point over the bad side, okay? What are you going to do? Throw a trans person under the bus when they get quote tweeted by like Ben Shapiro because the trans...
Well, what do you mean like under the bus? Can I be like, he made a good point. He just shouldn't have said that part. Is that like throwing under the bus? Like, what if, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, what if he said like, I don't know, what if he said like J.K. Rowling is a fat, ugly bitch, slut, land whale? Who should like kill herself? Like what if he said that, but also she's mean to trans people? Like what if he said that? What can I not be like, yeah, I don't support that part. Or what happened to, didn't he say like earlier, I don't support like this, like not that I like condone like what Doe said. What's the difference between me saying that and like what's the difference between him saying that and me saying I understand like the point that he's trying to make, you shouldn't have said it in this way, it's problematic, and I'm not gonna be like, I'm not going to support that specifically. Where are we going with this? I don't know. What if someone's criticizing Candace Owens and then calls her like the N-word hard R? Yeah, am I going to like, I know Candace Owens doesn't actually care about racism, but like I do. I know like J.K. Rowling doesn't care about misogyny. I do. I feel like I can do two things at once, which is like being like, yeah, I don't think that we should say that like specifically, but you make a good point and the rest of what you said was pretty sick. Can't I do that? Maybe he's just talking about the people who aren't doing that. Or maybe he's just like reading into like the people who made a tweet specifically or like made a comment or made like a Reddit post specifically about what he said and don't know like the rest of their position or anything, or like are saying that they only care about this. I don't know, man.
Trans person said something optically bad, like they said something like, seriously, you know, I don't like people who do the whole like ironic misandry as a way of being actually misandristic thing, but if a person was like, you know, Ben Shapiro is a fascist, I hate men, you know, and Ben Shapiro quote tweeted them going, ha, you hate men? Well, it looks like you're the real fascist then, aren't you? Would you seriously go like, they're really providing ammunition? No, you fucking wouldn't. Come on. You did it because it's me. This hand wringing from my community, I expect it because you all are
the paranoia It's back. The paranoia. It's back. Vaush go to therapy fund. Where's the Vaush go to therapy fund? Where is it? We need it. He needs a hug and he needs a little bit of therapy. All right. I love him. He needs a little bit of therapy and he needs a good hug. Love him. Love the buddy. Vaush has VDS. Ooh. Oh. I think this might be his new arc. I don't know. Nah, he's been on this arc for, no, it's just like another, it's just another version of, they only do it because it's me. They think I'm stinky. And that's the only reason why they said it. He doesn't like ironic misinjury. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to hear his point on that. I don't know. You think we should talk to him? You think I should reach out and be like, Vaush, debate me, stink lord. Debate me, stink lord, fat Ian. I just like to hear his point on that. I just think it'd be interesting. Do it. I know. I don't know. Yeah, Irish laddie, Irish stinky, more like it. Because like the big thing is like, I understand his point. I get it. That's fine. I support that. You just probably shouldn't have said this part. Can't I say that? Yeah, stink laddie. Like, is that? Can I say that? Is that like fine? Like, do we have to call it hand wringing? Can't I just be like, this doesn't go with my values. These just are my values. So I'm not going to support it. I'm going to actively say you shouldn't say that. Like, can't I say that if anyone in my community goes out and spends their time on Twitter telling conservatives to kill themselves, can't I say that like you shouldn't say that? If you make a good point, I'm going to support that point, but I'm not going to support you and like not condone you being like that, you saying that. Like, I think that you shouldn't say that for two reasons. One, it does give them ammunition. Like, let's not pretend that it doesn't give them ammunition, because it does. And two, it just goes against my values personally. I just don't think that we should. My values do not support you doing that. I'm not going to support you doing it specifically as you're on my side.
Optics frogs who learn every wrong lesson from me, but from the broader community, you are doing the apologia for transphobia. It's very, very disappointing. And by the way, Rowling never would have screenshotted me if I wasn't misogynistic. So the people who are acting as though me being more in good faith would have led to, like people are acting as though I was on a talk show with Rowling where I had the opportunity to say something constructive and I chose not to. If that was the case, I think any criticisms of me would be massively warranted because there's the potential for good faith engagement. But I was just tweeting, you know? She can screenshot and has screenshotted whoever she wants. She has quote tweeted trans people with like 500 followers, and those people then get death threats. They have to close their accounts. She didn't quote tweet me though. She screenshotted me. I wonder why.
He almost got it. I don't know. It's like, sure, if you would have been on a platform, sure, I would agree that it would have been worse. But you were on your platform. Call him White Shark and don't let him talk over you. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what we need. Yeah, I was just tweeting, homie. Like, yeah, you were just tweeting. Yeah, 100%. You're on your platform. You're a very large platform.
It's funny that, you know, I can take the hate a lot better than most of the people she harasses can. The point is, she goes looking for the bad look to go after. And as long as she's prowling around, and you know she does this, she drinks wine, she sits on her, no doubt, massive couch that costs more than most people's houses. And she scrolls through Twitter on her phone, and she bemoans how much of a victim she is, and she finds people who are saying mean stuff about her, and she like cry bullies over them, right? I would rather, if she was going to do that anyway, do that about me, because if I hadn't said something misogynistic, she would.
I think there's a lot of lefty circles. It's real misogyny. Yeah, I mean, we all understand. I think I've heard him say it before, that like Vaush think he can make very harsh jokes or comments on any volatile topic online. I would just know the history and debunking transphobia. Yeah, I don't know. I just think like maybe he just thinks when he's on his own Twitter account, that's like, it's okay to like make, because I understand he knows like there's levels to it. And I would understand, you know, I agree that there's some levels to it. Like, once again, like maybe it's just me when I think it's less sort of like public versus private language. But I feel like the Twitter account language is also public language. It is all public language. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in like the Discord server or something, or in like a Discord call, maybe it would be like a little bit more excusable, but like just straight up on the Twitter account on main, I don't know. Especially when it's your work Twitter account. Maybe if it was an alt, okay. Maybe it was an alt, I think I could give it a little bit more leeway. But if it's on like the main 200,000 talking about this issue while it's trending, while your voice is like either respected or listened to a certain amount, come on.
Just done it to somebody else, and you wouldn't be wringing your hands over it because it wouldn't have been me, you know? I swear to God, for a lot of people on the left, disliking me is some kind of first order thing. The only point that I'm making is that it's okay to criticize the ironic misogyny, but the idea that this is some kind of optical loss, that there was some critical error made, or that I handled the drama incorrectly, as though every tweet that I, a medium-sized YouTuber, send into the void should be treated with the necessary skepticism of you will be quote tweeted and screenshotted by a billionaire? Like, that's ridiculous. Imagine if we did that to every single person posting on the left. Every shit post.
Well, maybe not every single person, but probably, I mean, like, maybe people with like a certain size or like history of this or something, you know? Or like certain influence. Like the whole hand wringing thing. I feel like he thinks everybody is doing this despite the situation and not because of it, you know? I don't know. Like, so wait. So it's okay to wait. I just want to
misogynistic. She would have just done it to somebody else, and you wouldn't be wringing your hands over it because it wouldn't have been me, you know? I swear to God, for a lot of people on the left, disliking me is some kind of first order thing. The only point that I'm making is that it's okay to criticize the ironic misogyny, but the idea—
okay, it's okay to criticize the ironic misogyny.
that this is some kind of optical loss, that there was some critical error made, or that I handled the drama incorrectly.
So it's okay to criticize it, but not criticize it in the— it's okay to criticize it, but not criticize it in the context of the situation at hand. Like, I know maybe some, like, you're criticizing the ironic misogyny. Yeah. You said you do it. You said you would like just do it again. This literally happening? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like this. Take care of yourself, Shark. Go to therapy, my friend. When I get some therapy money, maybe. I'm still not a huge streamer. Okay? I'm not huge. Could be worse. Yeah, I'll fucking do it again. It's just like, so we can criticize it, just not criticize it in the context. I know like hindsight is 20/20 and everything, but now that we do have the hindsight, can we not do it again? You start therapy today? Well, congratulations. I'm happy for you. I hope you enjoy it. Hope it helps. Yeah, like now that we have the hindsight, can we not do it again? You can be hypocritical as long as it's against a billionaire. I'm not sure if I'd say that he's saying that, but
as though every tweet that I, a medium-sized YouTuber, send into the void should be treated with the necessary skepticism of you will be quote tweeted and screenshotted.
You told women to be quieter. Like I get the meme. Lots of people didn't, right? Because I haven't heard that like saying like the phrase specifically speak up and don't be quiet. Sorry, don't apologize. What is it, like be louder and don't apologize or whatever? I haven't heard that before specifically, like me myself. I know some other I guess if I haven't, I know some other people haven't either.
Shotted by a billionaire. Like, that's ridiculous. Imagine if we did that to every single person posting on the left, every shit poster, every edgy content creator. The Chapo boys have said stuff like, imagine, like, would you, if the Chapo boys said some— I have no doubt they've said negative stuff about Rowling. I have no doubt they've said like problematic stuff about, you know, a great many conservative people, because I've seen and heard them do it. Sometimes they're even funny when they do it. Imagine like that snippet getting posted. Look at these Chapo boys. Wow, I guess, you know, I guess the left really is racist. Maybe they made some edgy comment about like Candace Owens or something. I don't know. Would you all go, damn, Chapo boys really dropped the ball optically? No, you wouldn't. You would celebrate them being a shit poster and you would make fun of the triggered right. And why aren't more people doing—
what if I criticize them and make fun of the triggered right? What about that? What if I say, yeah, you probably shouldn't have said that? Also, you guys are like super triggered right now. Can I say that? Is that something that I can do? Because I don't know. I've seen some stuff that like Chapo said. I don't know. I don't like Chapo. Chapo seems pretty fucking cringe. That seems pretty I don't know. A lot of stuff that I've seen Chapo post, they seem pretty fucking cringe and they seem pretty fucking annoying. But that's just me though. And if something came out and like Candace Owens was like, look at these, look what they said, right? Yeah, pretty mid at best. Yeah, they seem pretty mid. I would say like, yeah, you shouldn't have said that. Also, I would be like, Candace Owens, you know you don't fucking care about this. Stop pretending. I can do both, right? Even when it came to like the Bernie bro thing, I can say like, yeah, a lot of Bernie bro, a lot of people who supported Bernie, yeah, they were pretty fucking annoying. Like, can we be honest? Can we be honest with each other? All right. You saw some posts from people whose like tag was Bernie for life, feeling the burn, like flower emoji, fire emoji, flower emoji, hecka Biden, K-Hive can kill themselves, right? And they say some like crazy ass shit, and you're like, I like that you support Bernie. Stop saying that, right? Can't you be like that? I can understand. Like, we can't I make fun of like the weirdo liberal who's like a Bernie supporter wrote an article, opinion piece, and like Bernie said something bad about me. Here's why I'm going to use this as my thesis for why poor people don't deserve healthcare, right? Can't they say both? Like, fucking stop. I don't know.
Doing that. J.K. Rowling got triggered by me. She's a crybaby bitch. She's a massive baby. She's a billionaire with huge social power. And she was out there getting angry at some mid-sized YouTuber on Twitter for engaging in, you know, fairly light-handed misogyny. I could be way more misogynistic than that, okay? I had the kid gloves on. I can go, Get me a real platform, okay? I'll show you. Like in any sane world,
I can be way more misogynistic than you, Britoid. Okay, but why? But why though? Like, I know. Yeah, but why though? Yeah, that's Vaush, all right? That is him. Here's the thing, I don't know. Like, and I'll say this. With all the hate that he gets, I think there's a lot of hate that he does not deserve. Or like, I think there's a lot of like dislike or discontent with him that he do deserve. He brings it upon himself, and I think he revels in it. Like, I've said this before. Like, he makes his own bed and he lies in it and he gets fleas. And I'm not sure if he like likes it or whatever, but it seems like pretty deserved. Like when someone's like, Vaush is misogynistic on the timeline and I don't like it. Like, yeah. He admitted to being misogynistic on the timeline and he does like it. It seemed like he just accepted that, right? It seemed like he's lying in the bed that he made, right? Can we talk about the Kremlin gremlin being cringe? I feel like we talk about him every day.
World, people on the left should be clapping like seals, you know, screaming, ha ha ha, look at this. And now there are Newsweek articles with my name in it. You think J.K. Rowling looks good from all this? You seriously think the conservatives backing her up are going to be more won over to the position of trans people being bad because I was misogynistic? Bro, transphobia doesn't exist because TERFs convince people that trans allies are misogynistic. Transphobia exists because conservatives think trans people are degenerates who are mentally ill and should either not exist or kill themselves. That's where transphobia comes from. Not from J.K. Rowling. The TERF thing is a psyop. Christ. Like, you're like, this would be like looking at the Candace Owens script and going, well, we really need to cut down on the number of people criticizing Candace Owens for being a grifter because all they're doing is reinforcing her narrative that black conservatives get targeted for their position. I can't believe you people. I can't believe.
What about when you made fun of that one black conservative girl's hair, right? You guys remember that? When he was like, I swear, these like black conservative women, they all have the same hair, cringe hair, or something along those lines. And then he was like, oh, remember my dad do? Yeah, I think that was pretty cringe and he shouldn't have said it. I do know both that like Trump supporting girl. Actually, I think she may have cared, actually. She went to, she may be conservative, but I think she actually cared more about that. I know Candace Owens didn't care specifically, but I think that girl, I think she actually did care. Like, it doesn't really matter what Candace thinks or the other girl thinks, really. Because I know a lot of them don't care. Like, it's what I think. He misspoke, but I know his intended statement wasn't great. Yeah, but like, we don't defend that. Like, we don't defend that. He doesn't defend that. Didn't that even come up on his everything that I've been canceled for video?
You people, I really can't. I think you're all doing apologia right now. And I think that personally, apologia in line with J.K. Rowling's transphobia is infinitely worse than me being misogynistic on Twitter on International Women's Day, which, grow a fucking spine. You fucking babies. Oh, wow. You know, you should all be clapping like seals. This is funny as shit. And instead, you're whining and crying. To the people in my community, I forgive you for the mistakes that you've made. I understand that when I talk about the necessity of optics, you're under the impression that means that we should engage in a kind of respectability.
Can I think that it's all bad? Also, I didn't even think it was that funny. Like, I mean, it was like, I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't like the most hilarious joke. I mean, it wasn't like it. I don't think that joke is going to be put down in the book of comedy gold. You know, personally, it is a little bit of a please clap. I mean, it was a fine joke. I'm just saying that this isn't like comedy gold, like a mid joke. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'll even say that like the joke that I made when I said that the joke that I made that like Destiny got mad at. That's like all of the biggest YouTubers look like they fell out of a Dr. Seuss book and got bullied in band class by the woodwind section in high school. Like, remember when I made that joke? All right, like I'll even accept. Sure, that was mean, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that I need to defend that and I need to be able to say it. Like, sure, I can 100% understand people being like, hey, Shark, you shouldn't have said that one. And everybody who said that was also like a Destiny cringe, but also Shark, don't say that. That's not singling out like an oppressed group. I mean, I know Vaush saw that. He was like, except for me though. So I don't know. He may have said it was funny, but whatever. Your jokes are way better. Yeah, but that's like an opinion. Like that's whatever. Whatever you think about that, that's fine. But still, I don't know. Gamers are oppressed. I don't know. I do know there are people out there who got hurt by that, who I didn't want to hurt. Be like, sure, it was like a little mean, and it detracted from my point. And then I spent more time having to talk about, do like one of these, right? I have to spend more time talking about like, oh, who did I mean? Who was I talking about? Who was I making fun of? Instead of like the actual thing, which is like, you know, the misogyny in the issue. I think that was an okay joke. It definitely is funnier than the sexist jokes out there. I think, I don't know. It depends. Because I don't want to like make fun of like a lot of guys like appearances. I know it's already a touchy stuff. I know a lot of guys already feel bad about it and everything. You know? I mean, it was still funny. Like, two things can be true. It can be funny, and you probably shouldn't have gone on about it, you know? Getting bullied by the woodwind section in band class.
Politic, where we constantly, conform our behavior to optimize the, our image in the minds of the opposition to make it impossible for them to criticize us. I got news for you folks, okay? And I feel I'm not trying to as long as we're defending trans people, they're the optical weak point, okay? Conservatives hate trans people on a fundamental and intuitive and intrinsic level, okay? If you're so concerned with modifying, then just go be Stonewall white gay people, okay? Realize that you finally got a little bit of public attention and throw all the trans...
I got any white gay people in chat? I got any like white homos in chat? Genuinely curious. I think it's fair to say that that some comedy is low-hanging fruit. But low-hanging fruit can be funny. Sure, we're not even talking about like if it was like that funny. I'm just saying like, was it that funny that it must be defended at like all costs? Yeah, show yourselves. I guess I count. Hey yo, fuck you. Bodied.
People under the bus immediately. If you're so concerned about the possibility that conservatives are going to make you look bad, Ben Shapiro, J.K. Rowling, any of these big conservative accounts, look at what they quote tweet. Look at what they post. You think you're going to win their respect by not being misogynistic on International Women's Day? No, you won't. You could be the nicest little bitch baby in the universe. You could be kind and civil. You could never be problematic. You could shave off all of the edgy shit posting, all the humor, all the problematic behavior you want from the left. But at the end of the day, you're still defending degenerates, and they're going to call you out for it. You're still pro-BLM, and they'll call you out for wanting cities burnt down. You're still pro-healthcare for trans children, and they'll call you out for wanting to groom children. You will never ever be immune to their criticism. So the best thing that you can do, given that, is when you have the chance to make a good argument, make it. But at all other times, don't care. Don't care.
Wait, what?
That is when you have the chance to make a good argument, make it. But at all other times, don't care. Don't care. Refrain from caring. That's not
No, look, the lizard is trying to escape the misogyny. Look,
refrain
baby.
from caring.
Escape.
That's not a lack of adherence to optics. Optics works when you're making the argument. But I wasn't making an argument. I was shitposting. And if it wasn't me, it was going to be someone else. It's not as though J.K. Rowling picks her targets at the comparable level. There are a few people at her level of publicity and notoriety. Hopefully I've made my point. Anyway.
Okay. That was rambly as fuck. I understand his point. It's just, I just don't think we should make these jokes. And it's not solely because, what will the conservatives think? It was like, I think. I don't care. Like, I don't have to care what they think. I don't really care what they think. I know what they're going to do already. They're little shitty robots. I know exactly what they're going to do. I don't think that's good. I still don't think that we should feed into it, right? Where we can't. The thing is, like, here's the thing. We're going to lose some like optical ability sometimes, but those things are like, that's worth it. I think personally, I think that's worth it sometimes. Like, we're going to, like, sure, it's like optically bad to defend some trans people. Okay. But we shouldn't give that up, right? But I think like defend the optics we lose from defending trans people is worth it, and the optics we lose from is like the optics we lose is worth it, and some of the values that we like that we cut out exceptions for when making these sorts of memes isn't, right? I just don't think it's worth it. It doesn't seem worth it to me. I feel like we could just be using our time in better ways. And I don't think it's bad to be like, hey, let's call this out. I don't know. It feels like he's like, yeah, we can call this out, but in every way that you would be calling it out, like, don't though. Wordy bloke, that's true. That entire video was him people talking. Did he get ratioed? I mean, the screen cap got more likes than his original tweet, if I remember correctly. Vaush and people talking. Name a more iconic duo. What is this? Cherry bread. I want you all to understand the reason we do not have a strong leftist movement is because of morons like this. J.K. Rowling coming after Vaush is the most almighty let them fight I've ever seen. What kind of psyop do you have to be to equate Vaush and J.K. Rowling and say let them fight? Yeah, they're not the same. Criticize his jokes, say he needs to have better optics, say it's irresponsible. Don't fucking throw him out entirely as a useful asset if you care about our rights. We can amplify trans voices while him existing as a voice. Those aren't mutually exclusive. I'm sorry, but I hate that mentality. Cherry out here posting W's. Cherry, the W machine. We love to see it. Uncritical support for Cherry. We love women. But yeah, that's just how it be. Okay. Did we do it? Did we do it? Are we done? Is there anything else that we need to say on this topic? I know there's some people who do be disagreeing. I don't know. It seems like I don't know. It seemed like pretty easy to me. It seemed like pretty simple to me. I feel like it was just like, yeah, just don't do that. Good job. J.K. Rowling worse. Don't do that. Stand up, Vaush. Take a bow. I thought the let them fight was the most apt because even if Godzilla is destructive, he is not the same as the villain monster and is a good guy. Yeah. Till there, Vaush makes a bad joke, gets mad. When he made a bad joke. A little bit. Honestly, I mean, that's not the most I'm not gonna lie, that is not the most unfair. That is not the most unfair definition of what happened. You are without a doubt the worst leftist I've ever heard of, but you have heard of me. This is just fuel to the fire. I don't know. Listen, if he's happy throwing on more fire to if he's happy throwing on more fire to the raging inferno of the people that don't like him, then I mean, that's just, once again, that's just him. I don't have to defend him, all right?